morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Rail Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
It is Tuesday, my dudes. And that sort of seems to be my general attitude so far this morning. For some reason, I can't get into Truth Frequency Radio's vault to hang up Skype. I can't get the studio to pick up on the Skype end. And the controls that we use to hang up Skype in the studio, just in case this happens, are no longer accessible. So shout out to everybody there on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com, who's hearing probably a rebroadcast right now. And shout out to everybody on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and DLive and where else are we? One more. Where is it? Odyssey. For tuning in live this morning, let's say hello to the fellas. Say hello to Mr. Walter Johnson. He's got a little channel on YouTube called Flat Earth Head. Walter, how you doing, sir?
I have to concur, sir, and second that motion. Yeah, it's kind of a Tuesday. There it is. I'm not awake enough to give you the real thing. Still scratching my eyeballs and trying to pour coffee in them. That's how that works, right? Straight to the eyeballs. It gets to your brain quicker.
Right.
That way. All right. At least I'm doing it right. One thing. Yeah. Not really sure why there's no controls. I've checked every way I can, sir, on my little back door, and it did we get fired? Did I miss a memo? No, I don't know, dude. There's changes afoot, apparently, that we're not up on. But hey, morning.
It is early in the morning, I suppose. That's it. Well, let's say hello to Mr. Lucas King. His channel on YouTube is LC King. Lucas, how are things out there on the edge?
Good.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Shit. No, everything's good. Yeah. Does this mean we can share pictures and things like that? This might be fun.
I mean,
for the YouTube crowd.
No reason we can't, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, since we're officially not a radio program at the moment, then yeah, dude, show all you want. Well,
sweet.
They know
within YouTube guidelines. You sexy bastard.
We don't operate within those, do we?
What is that?
Since when?
There was one.
We're always like in the matrix, just pushing the boundaries, some rules you can break and whatever it was.
I know.
That quote.
I don't remember. It's been too long.
How you going, Josh? Anyway, we better swing it back around to you.
Well, it's been okay. I got my thermostat put in on Saturday morning. So
nice.
That was real nice. That was, I just needed to come at it with a fresh brain, and trying to do it after work just didn't seem to do it, because then I'm just worn and trying to brute force my way through. And like Scrooge McDuck's father told him, when he left for Scotland. Work smarter, not harder. And that's how Scrooge McDuck made his millions. So Saturday morning, I woke up and thought, well, if I can't get the angle right, maybe I need to change the angle. So after about my third cup of coffee, the light bulb went off and I slid a jack underneath the car and raised up the front of the motor. And I just stressed out my motor mounts a little bit and improved my angle, and it took me about 20 minutes to get that bastard installed. There's still a bolt down in there somewhere, but I've sacrificed it to the car gods. So hopefully that will appease them long enough to keep me going on the road. Girls are all finally trimmed up. And I think that was probably one of my big downfalls there, was having this car issue right when I should have been getting them in the jar. So some of it was a little drier than I'd wanted it to have been, but that's okay. I threw some desiccants in the jars and they are resting comfortably now. I should come home today with some pallets, and that'll be able to, basically the last thing I need to finish off the rooms themselves. And I've got Amazon sent me a deal this week on 4-foot grow lights. They're like 42 watts each, so they're not like huge monster grow lights compared to my 2,000 watt grow lights that I'm using currently. So I got those 4 for like $60, which was a really good deal. Normally they're anywhere from 75 to 100. Then I got 4 2-foot of those like blurple lights to use for seedlings, and I may try my hand at cloning as well. So right before I throw one into flower, I'll take a couple cuts off and get them rooted and started and see how that works. So aside from that, everything else is going relatively good. Works status quo. We're not on TFR right
Sweet.
now, so I guess it's okay to say that TFR has got me a little pissy. Well, I shared a link. I don't know if you guys were able to see it because it was acting really weird for me. I tried to download this video off of Facebook. And I've got like a Facebook video downloading site that I use that gets me YouTube and all the different videos that I want to rip off the internet. But I tried 4 different times, and each time it was coming up with an error saying the file was corrupted and I couldn't play it. One of them was the audio, so I thought I was just going to be able to grab the audio this morning to play it. And I go back, and all 4 of the videos are now there, working and available. So I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Did you?
So it worked.
Good.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a pretty decent promotion from Chris Geo talking about the extremist content provided here on True Frequency Radio.
That's right.
What pissed me off, I guess, was the setting. He did it from home. Not a big deal. And maybe I'm just hating because, my life has always been such a struggle. But to see him doing this promo, basically, sitting in front of his pool, lounging about, smoking a cigar, drinking a scotch, talking about all this, there was something about it that just rubbed me the wrong way, and I can't help but think Walt felt it too when he heard the setting of that, because I just saw his head whip around when he heard. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. There's something, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm right there with you. Yeah. Yeah, it really did kind of hit me in a bad spot as well, sir. Don't feel bad.
But that's all right. The controls on the Vault are gone, so we can't reconnect to the studio, so we are not on Truth Frequency Radio, at least not live this morning, but we are live on YouTube. I want to give a big shout out to Zachary Zabala, also known as Good Times for All, who may be snoring, sawing logs, sleeping soundly as we speak,
blissfully asleep,
frantically trying to get up and get situated. I may just buzz him here soon anyway, just because we can. But hopefully.
Yeah, because I want to get him up for the topic I want to talk about too. I found a topic for today.
Say
at least
no
for
more.
my part of things. So
it shows him green here on Skype, but this may be Skype from last week. It just hasn't updated yet because that's how Skype is.
Yeah.
Not dial pad. There we go. That got him.
Cool.
And shout out to everybody in chat joining us this morning. Thank you for staying up or getting up, either way, or being up.
Or just being there. That's it.
Look who it is.
Who that M is?
Sorry.
So good.
Everybody, welcome to Zachary Zabala. Good Times for All. Zach, entertain us all now.
You're on.
And go. No, we were
doing a bit of scratching.
Yeah.
We are not on Truth Frequency Radio this morning, Zach.
You're completely relaxed this morning, sir. Don't feel on or the necessity to be so. Just be yourself. Wake up, you crusty pucker.
Which does mean we're not going to have any breaks this morning, so somebody's going to have to help keep me on track.
Did we not make TFR in time?
Oh no, we were there. It just wasn't there for us.
Yeah,
we banged on the studio door and nobody answered. It was like, oh shit, did we miss the memo?
Interesting.
I didn't get any pink slips in the mail, so I don't know. Not yet.
All right. Yeah, I could not fall asleep last night. Saved my life.
Oh, that explains it. I told them you were headed to bed earlier than I did, so I was giving you some slack for sure.
I laid down and that wasn't happening. Let's see. I need coffee.
Yeah, get you some coffee, man. Stat for sure. Well, before we dive into anything yet, because Zach's not officially awake yet, we had a great show Friday.
Yeah, we did.
Once the stars aligned, it was awesome. Again, my sincere apologies for completely dropping the ball on the time zone thing. I did all I could, so still eluded me. Even with his help, I dropped it. So, but he got there and it worked out great. If you guys weren't there Friday, shame on you, number one. And then number two, it's over there. Go watch it. We had Campbell from Autodidactic Channel 1 and 2, or Original and 2, whatever. Those channels and many others. Go check it out. It was great. In fact, a friend of mine I saw yesterday watched it and was just blown away. So, yeah. He's kind of new to the history stuff. His thing is more, he's really into the astrology. In fact, he was talking about some of the stuff you were talking about over the last few shows, Lucas, for sure. So,
okay.
That's his big thing. That's good. Yeah, he's always trying to get I think between him and Candy, I at some point had star charts and readings and all that stuff, but it's been so long and I've lost wherever that's saved. I think that all is actually on my laptop. It's where all that stuff wound up. That was that long ago. Anyway, but yeah, it was a great show Friday for damn sure.
It was. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was we covered a few subjects, but sort of hung around that parasite sort of idea, didn't we?
Yes,
That was
yes.
sort of somewhat unexpected for me, but no, it's interesting going down that sort of little rabbit hole of, I mean, it's an endless sort of battle to try and tackle the idea of controllers or whatever, but it's still worth contemplating different angles about that type of thing.
It was so crazy. Once again, I think it was actually Saturday. It wasn't Friday night, but Saturday, I was reading that Secret History of the World, and the section I had just gotten to started talking about some of the people who studied history and some of their takes on some of this stuff. And one of them talks about this idea that at one point, all of these initiates or whatever into these secret schools knew that we were being influenced by some type of entities that were outside of us. I'll have to find the exact quote because I'm sure I'm tearing it all apart. Let me go find it. I'll drop it in chat for you guys. 1 second.
And shout out to
Speak
Campbell.
of the devil, right? I just saw him pop up as I was getting to my screen. Hello, Campbell. Good morning, sir. Glad to see you there in chat.
And shout out to Erica Burke and or Bork, because she and or they were in chat Friday and did reach out to us via email talking about some of those very things. Apparently Erica had a pretty decent sized channel on YouTube at one point. Yeah, at least had a lot of content at the very least. And YouTube just deleted it. So God, I will probably invite her / and or them on here one of these days very soon.
Yeah, nice.
Actually reach out and respond to the email.
Right. I subbed during the show Friday, and I believe it may have been Saturday. I saw a video go through that was very intriguing, something interesting that I had not ever even thought about at all. The entities, the whatever, the parasites that are in us, some people call them Morgellons, and put forth the idea that perhaps it's what's being sprayed on us on a daily basis. Been there, looked into all that, but apparently silica dioxide. Hello, this is just me talking. Don't do anything I suggest or talk about here. These are all ideas we're just contemplating. But apparently, eating the gel pack that you're not supposed to eat, that comes in all the different things that they come in to keep things dry for shipping or for whatever. I can't tell you the number of things I get them in. There were some in my guitar and my guitar case, and my capsules I get to put my kratom in my. You picked my turmeric over there. There's some in there. So yeah, these little packets that say "Do not eat" all over them. It's a crystal. It's a salt. It's a whatever. I did a little tiny touch of research, and what I saw out there reminded me a lot of what I saw when I started looking into borax, to that idea of it being something that we were definitely led away from as a healing. Now it's strictly just sold in the laundry detergent part of the world. But yeah, lots of people drink that on a daily basis for this same thing, to get these, whatever they are, out of us. Seen some interesting testimonials. I don't know. I haven't actually gone that far with it. I did a little experimental week or so of it, but it was during the time when I was going through the healing and the wreck and all that stuff. So I had so much going on that me throwing something else into my system at the time just really didn't sit well. So I haven't gone back. I know there's the diatomaceous earth idea out there too. That same person that I went and saw this weekend, who saw the show and was really impressed by it, his mother, as I was heading out, who I'm also good friends with, told me, because she had lost a lot of weight, and I commented on it, and she said she's been doing that as well to get rid of some things, candida, whatever. So yeah, lots of interesting ideas about getting rid of these bad things in our body, really suddenly all hitting us at once. So I think the cosmos are trying to talk to us.
Lucas.
Lucas?
You have to put up that thing. I had a dream about it. The electric field plants in your garden. I can't hear you, Lucas.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, I'm going to bring that up. So yeah, we'll go through it, and
I dreamt about it, and I got an idea how you do it too. Because you said you wanted the afternoon, midday sun not to hit your plants.
Yeah, well, I've seen different setups where people are basically, it's almost like a pretty flimsy version of a greenhouse, and it's just to put the shade cloth on, and you'd only use like a 25% shade cloth, but it just takes that sting out of the midday sun, especially for our hot summers, and it just adds a little bit of protection for the plants, and they grow a lot better. So I've been thinking about that for probably the last 2 years. Like every time it gets super hot, I'm like, just a little bit of shade cloth to take that sting out would give my garden, keep the moisture, all that sort of stuff. So, and to integrate it with this electric idea would be, I don't know, they're pretty much the same. They'd integrate pretty well. So.
Yeah, Lucas.
Anyway,
that makes so much sense about the.
All right, I'll share screen.
Stop! I'm sorry. I had finally found the picture I was looking for, and I was going to read that off real quick. But you can definitely take it, sir, since we've kind of turned the corner anyway.
No, you can go back. Whatever.
Well, it was just really quick. This last little part. A brilliant analysis of Sumerian and other texts by Princeton professor of history Julian Jaynes, published in 1976, The Origins of Consciousness and the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind, argued that during this period, which talks about during this period, our consciousness being like a hive of bees that literally could leave our body, our head, our soul, whatever, and go into other people. And like I said, I've talked about some of this stuff. You guys really have to read the book. But down there at the bottom, they talk about how they show that humans at that time had no concept of an interior life like we have today. Like all these things, these references of like a god interfering, grabbing somebody by their head, or another god talking to them about going home and all that. These external gods' influences were their internal dialogue. And a lot of people think that's what these phrases and these passages are, like a poetic way of talking about this internally generated dialogue, but it wasn't. It literally were external beings, entities, gods, whatever the hell you want to call them. And there at the bottom, they talk about how there was no mental life internal, such as willing, thinking, feeling, which we experience is somehow generated inside of us. They experienced it as the activity of spirits or gods in and around their bodies. The impulses happened to them at the bidding of disembodied beings that lived independently of them rather than arising inside themselves at their own bidding. Now, after I read this, it made me start thinking about the concept, the idea of these things figuring out a way to get inside us. And that's what the big change was, is it went from external to internal. Now, that may be something that's addressed in the next chapter of the book I'm reading. It's an idea that I know we've talked about with Martin on our show when he was here when we were on TFR with him. These parasites, number one, bringing language into us, that we didn't actually have a language until these parasites somehow got in us. And then here we go, this idea of these external influences somehow becoming internalized. I don't know. Crazy shit. Read the book. I'll say it again. The Secret History of the World. Jonathan Black. I don't have it here to hold
You've
up.
been talking about this book a lot lately.
It's just, it's got it all. I mean, it's literally every time we talk about something, I read it 2 or 3 days later or that night or whatever, or I'll read something and then we'll start talking about it the week later. I mean, it's just one of those books that has come in, at the right time, that kind of is pointing a lot of directions. And I know it's, it's not as well known as a lot of books out there. I think Biggs had a copy of it, and he's the only other person I've seen yet that has it. So get it. I'll drop you guys a link here in just a second. And then this idea of the external forces.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we don't have no brakes. No brakes. We don't need no stinking brakes. But this idea of these things becoming internalized may have something to do with that whole change in our electromagnetic makeup, either as beings or in the place that we're in, and was that a natural occurrence? Was that something that was affected by external beings that wanted to take control of the system? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Me neither.
Me neither.
All right, I'm going to share screen.
Yeah, I was reading through that article, Lucas. It could have been if the Schumann resonance was different at some time, that could explain why, trees grew to be a mile tall and
Right.
500 feet tall and all
Right.
that we've heard of. When you manipulate the electric field, this guy, what do you know his name, Lucas? I think it was 1931. He applied for the patent.
Yeah, I've got it up on screen here.
It reminds me of the Rife machine, kind of.
Kenneth E. Golden. There's a few of them, and there's actually a modern version of some of this stuff, but it's mainly for weeds, to get rid of weeds. But this is completely different, what he's doing. This is he's almost got an analog system of creating a sort of a feedback loop, governed by the plants and things themselves. It's really interesting the way he's doing it. So he's sort of syncing the electric field to them, to the natural environment, which is exactly what I thought the sort of the zodiac is. In a sense, it's an analog version of calculating frequencies. So it's always been an interest that were they using the zodiac as a way of mapping frequencies for some reason, or applying it some way, just a different sort of thinking to normal sort of astrological ways that are normally in the astrological books and things like that. And so everyone can see that on the screen, can they? Yeah.
Yeah, the top right picture, if you'll see the 4 poles above the 6 trees, and then the wires above.
That's what I was going to ask. Was that wires, or was that just showing the field? So that is wiring. Okay, cool.
Yeah, those are wires. And then in the ground beneath, you see the dotted lines. Those are also wires running underneath the ground. So it's kind of making the 2 plates of my Van de Graaff generator.
Exactly. And then, so yeah, what he was doing is basically setting up a high voltage, low current. So it would be similar to a power line, but instead of having, just the top, you've got the bottom as well connected up, and one can be charged positive and one can be charged negative. And then depending on what you want to do with it, you can flip those polarities as well. So what was interesting about that was that we was increasing growth of these plants, and there's other people doing similar type things with charge, but they were getting in between, I think it was 30 to 50% higher growth. So that's quite a significant increase in growth in the same period of time, but they're also getting increase in the material of the plant, more heads on say barley or whatever it was they're doing. But this guy was also saying that you could flip the polarity, and what would happen is you could actually interfere with either certain pests or insects, and also interfere with their sort of egg cycle. So this is interesting as well. If you put it in the context of sun and moon, one's positive, one's negative. You might be able to actually work out, you get more information of what the sun and the moon doing by actually doing experiments with, a positive overhead line or a negative overhead line, if you get what I'm meaning.
Yeah, and what I thought of it was a rife machine using different frequencies to, target the bugs, but not hurt the plant so much, or to stimulate plant growth. I bet if you got it, just like the rife machine, you could hit certain types of bugs and not affect the earthworms, maybe. I mean, this was 1931. They didn't have the same stuff we have now. The what are they called? The pulse generators and all this kind of stuff that we have now that's accessible. I mean, those were like being invented around this time. So what we could do now, oh man, it could be amazing. You could change the whole farming industry with this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And what it really sort of lends itself to is actually market gardeners like myself. Like, you're not going to do it on broad acre, and I think broad acre is really a dying art anyway. But to actually increase fertility in small sections, high yields, high crop rotation, and those sort of things. I think that's really the future, where people have a small community and are actually able to produce really high quality foods that they need, and sort of get back to that art. And the interesting thing is, when you look at some of the older sort of buildings and how they were collecting energy and things like that, well, were they actually just using some of that energy to stimulate growth for greenhouses and things like that, stimulate the growth, or even for themselves? You put yourself in a high electrostatic charge. What does that do to the human body? Does it actually help increase health, or does it, like we say, keep away the parasites? Or what does it actually do? So anyway, there was just a few questions that have been rumbling around my head.
Yeah, and it made me think of was the Schumann resonance different at one time? Are we in a real low power, low vibration state? Well, the Earth, really. Is the Earth in a low vibration, low frequency state? Where at one time it was much higher. Maybe that's what the spraying is about. They want to keep it low. I don't know. I know aluminum, strontium, and barium all have effects on the magnetic field.
Well, yeah, they do, and they also have it seems, when you look at like the barium, strontium, and aluminium and those sort of products as well, when you look at them in a vacuum tube setting, they have an effect on the electricity transference too. So especially they would migrate towards the cathode, which would, the sun, in a sense. So, and is that why they spray the ecliptic, you know what I mean, where the sun travels?
Yeah, doing something.
Yeah, they're doing something, all right. I mean, that's costs what? How much would that cost? Like huge amounts of money
just
to.
flying the planes themselves, just fueling them up and flying them. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's I have a hard time thinking that it's just to kill us all, because I mean, you could do it so much easier. Really, come on. I don't think that's their main goal.
No, maybe not via that.
Not via that. You have to choose to die. You know, they give you the choice, and you have to agree to
You
it.
got the choice, man.
Yeah, with this one, you don't get a choice if they're trying to kill people by spraying them. That just affects everybody. I just don't think that's it. Now, the little prick that they like, that's going around. Maybe that's your choice. I don't know. But yeah, I don't see the spraying as being. I mean, it's dangerous, I'm sure. Just having those elements in the air, breathing them in, aluminum in the soil, not good. Processed aluminum in the soil.
Yeah, but also for the fires. So remember that for the Australian fires, like how you get that coating of aluminium and it'll just erupt, supposedly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and there's lots of crazy wildfires happening right now. We've kind of talked about this, I think, once or twice, and just the idea of like how much can we trust their resources. TJ, they're asking in chat about just curious, how do we know the human resonance is something real and not just a story like everything else? I mean, there's been so many people who seem to have come up with really good work based on it, Rife, etc. That being said, do we know someone who's been able to actually measure this stuff in our community? Is that something somebody's working on to verify it for our group, kind of thing? You know what I mean? Anyone? No?
No, I don't know.
What, the Schumann resonance and all that
Right.
stuff?
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, just all the different, like we have to go to space weather to get it, kind of, the big joke of that kind of thing. So,
Well, no, what they do is they measure just the electric field. And what the Schumann resonance, what it does to the electric field, about 4 p.m. UTC time, it's at its like regular line, its baseline. Well, about 4 p.m., it starts getting stronger. And it goes up about 15% and peaks out at 7 p.m. UTC time. And then starts dropping down until about 4 a.m. And it's like about a 15% jump in energy. And it's really neat because it works like a raindrop hitting a puddle. Think of the water as like the electric field. Well, when that raindrop hits the center, it makes that ripple, and the ripple extends out across the circle. So you have a bucket of water, and you drop that drop right in the center. Well, those ripples go out over the top. That's kind of how the electric field acts. It doesn't happen exactly the same everywhere where it does its little. Think of the wave as the increase of the electric field. So that ripple kind of goes out, and it's not the exact same time everywhere. It's more like that ripple from the center, and it starts in the center and it moves its way towards the edges. And it does it once a day. It's like a heartbeat, like a drop of water hitting the bucket once a day, and it's like a beating heart. Ba-boom, ba-boom. And it just does that increase in the electric field. It doesn't matter where the sun is. The sun could be on the other side of the earth, and it still increases the electric field underneath that sun. I don't know why it happens. I don't know much more about it than that. But they've been measuring it for a long time, a very long time. I don't think they know what's going on. And these are those things I don't think that they would lie about so much, because we could go out there and measure them as well. There's certain things, I'm not saying they're not lying about it. I haven't Like I said, I haven't measured it myself yet. But it seems to have been done at a time when more people were getting real information out there. It's not like today when, somebody, like if a Rife came around today, they'd be able to hide that stuff, no problem. Whereas back then, it seemed like science was a little more, the world was a lot bigger because they didn't have the communication that they have today. So Rife could, he talked to 20 colleagues before anybody else really heard about it. I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but I don't know. It seemed like it was easier back then to be an inventor. Now you go and invent a water that runs on gasoline and you end up dead. Whereas back then, I think you could have got away with it a little bit more. They didn't have their claws so dug in to the information and how it was accessed by people. Just a thought.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But I think, just like with everything else, we have to come at all this with as much discernment and just go through it all ourselves, work it out, verify it ourselves, that whole thing. Wow, what the hell is that?
Yeah, believe me, it hasn't been because of lack of thinking about it or whatnot.
Crazy,
I've wanted to test it a bunch, but you need to be able to get a wire real high and ground it at the same time, and then just sit there and put it on a meter and measure it, all the time. Have a meter constantly measuring it to measure the change in the field.
As it changes, right.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, way back in the day, I think it was 30s, 40s, they were talking about they were up there in the Arctic. And the way that they plot out the electric field on their maps is done over a flat plane. All the mathematics are done for using a flat plane. I thought that was real interesting. That they just don't even put the curve into their calculations because it messes everything up.
Yeah,
and the flat
right.
plane is the easiest way to do the math. So they just leave it flat. And really, no, it's all elevation and this and that above sea level, blah, 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 blah. So, but yeah, there's a reason they do all the math to be flat because they can't find a curve.
All right, so what I'm showing here on the screen is an apparatus for selectively applying electrical current to plants. So basically, it's a weed zapper. So, all those chemicals and things that we use to, spray and put on our food and things like that,
Those
probably don't need it. Probably don't need it.
Yeah, probably.
So basically, what it does, you've got high voltage, but you've got a bit of current in there as well. So it zaps the plant, and then it actually goes down the internals of the plant and sort of cooks it from the inside. And yeah, Bob's your auntie. No more weeds. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Maybe an efficient way. There are I've seen there was a modern version of this where there was a tractor with a sort of a beam on the front of it, and it would go across the crop like that.
What, a laser tractor? Fucking A, dude. That's gnarly.
Yeah, it just has like a metal beam, and then on the back of the tractor it has like just a generator that's going to create the charge, and then it just basically puts electricity into that beam, and then has an earthing wheel that rolls along with it. And so what they were showing is that they'd have their crop, and then there'll be a few weeds and things sticking out the top of the crop, and then they'd just drive over and it'd touch those weeds and get them out without actually using any sprays. And you can actually change the settings to have a more of an impact on, say, broadleaf or grasses and things like that. So depending on your settings, you're going to actually tackle certain plants. Now, you know, especially around here, I mean, we have an ingenious council that thinks it's fucking brilliant to, you know, use Roundup right on the gutters. You know, go along the sides of the roads and right on the gutters where all the water flows and goes directly into the lake, where people's, you know, might want to swim, and you know, it's just, you know, we've got a brain dead society on it, honestly, when it comes to this, and you know, it's a pet hate of mine to have, you know, the idiocracy of actually spraying a chemical that is poisonous on your food before you eat it is beyond, you know.
Well,
But anyway,
they went one further with you, Lucas. Now they just put the poison right into the plant.
In there genetically, yes, sir.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. God.
And the bugs won't eat it, so you have lots of it. lots of poison to feed everybody.
But there's one they call desiccation, and it's basically where you know, you've got your crop and you say, well, you know, it's pretty much ready to go. I want to harvest it at this time, you know, because there's rain coming up or whatever it is, whatever excuse. And so they basically, you've got your barley crop or whatever it is, spray it out. It all dies, and then it, you know, at the same time, it's all at the same sort of evenness, and then they harvest it. So literally you've sprayed a poison on your food just before you've harvested it. So it's mind-boggling, not to mention that you know, say Roundup is actually patented, and I think it's got a patent for as a antibiotic. So, you know, and all the links between, you know, Roundup and these gut problems and that people have, which is basically they go under the guise of gluten intolerance. It's like, nah, you're full of fucking Roundup and glue, you know. Clag.
Your body thinks that the food you're eating is a poison or like a poison parasite. It's invading, so your body attacks it. People are saying, "Oh, I can't eat this food anymore. I can't eat that food anymore." Well, yeah, because it's not real food anymore. Your body sees it as a threat and has built up antibodies against it. These things, a lot of this stuff, it'll put little holes in your stomach, and then the blood outside your stomach gets in and then gets on that food and realizes that it's not food, and yeah, starts making antibodies to fight this stuff. So now you can't eat it anymore.
Yeah, well, what a lot of the problem is the your intestines are perforated to let some products through, but what happens is that those holes get far too big, and it's letting molecules or whatever through, and your liver just struggles to process it. So you basically become toxic because the food is not being digested properly and just going straight into the bloodstream or wherever else. Leaky gut syndrome and all that sort of stuff. But it's a damn mess. That's what it is. And so when you get the society, you know, sick in the gut health, then you get them sick in the mind. You know, it's one to one. You really can't think when you're toxic. And so
exactly.
One of the benefits of being toxic. Yeah.
Anyway, I could rant on this for a while.
Yeah, me too. How are the ladies doing, Josh? Just
Dead.
Oh yeah, I know that. But
Killed them dead. They're all trimmed up though. They're curing in the jars with my.
are you burping them? You got to burp them.
Oh, I burp them.
Okay, that's. I mean, you can grow the most beautiful plants in the world, and they, but if you don't cure them properly, you're going to be looking at a big old jar of mold or something that you don't want to consume at all in any type of way. Yeah, you're definitely not done growing plants when you pull them. It's not game over there and you just sit and wait. There's still processes that need to be done. So if you've never done that before, make sure you look into that.
So they have a competition out there for
Burping
buds.
is huge.
Yeah, even the whole curing process apparently is really huge. So the cannabis cup.
Yeah.
Like 8 of the 10 winners of the cannabis cup had at least no less than a 6-month cure time on them. So
yep,
there is that to keep in mind. There's
it's
still
like Scotch whiskey.
Yep. Still a lot of chemical reactions going on in those jars as they sit and set.
That alchemical process is still taking place. So yeah, if you're looking to get into that type of growing and harvesting, do your research. You don't want to put in all that hard work and effort and all that love into those plants and then
end up with a shit product.
Yeah. Fall on your face the last 100 meters of the.
No, Callum says just you need to microwave them. Just give them a quick zap.
Just fucking skip to the last step, bro. Get to the
I remember
smoking.
doing that in like high school, middle school. I wasn't even smoking yet. And we went and picked the leaves. We didn't even pick the buds. We went and picked leaves and dried them in the microwave and hollowed out an apple. And I watched my buddies smoke them and pretend like they were high. Oh, those were good times.
Well, I had a buddy who had given me a gift from his crawfish ponds area that tended to just have natural things growing all around when we'd visit back there. But unfortunately, I didn't have the time for the process of the curing and had to leave on a job like the next day or the day after that. So there I am in, I believe, El Paso, trying to figure out what to do, trying to hang this shit at the curtain that's by the top, close to trying to figure it out. And finally, he's like, "Hang on, man, I'll be back in a minute." And dude, he took that shit down to the lobby and microwaved it. You could smell that shit all over the fucking hotel. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get us arrested for sure. And it was horrible. It didn't really help at all anyway. So yeah. The good old days.
Young and dumb.
When's your next movie, Josh?
Oh, I'm just the extra.
Disney hasn't called you up yet.
It's a struggling life of a Disney extra.
The struggling life of a Disney extra. So did you catch the new Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
No, still not.
It was one of those episodes that was just I've been waiting for one of these. They've been getting more into like storyline, it seems like, a little bit. Like the long story that they're kind of telling, bits and pieces of it. But this one had nothing to do with anything at all. And these are yeah, those are my favorite ones when it's just got nothing to do with any type of storyline. They just had some crazy, dumb idea and they made a skit about it. And It is funny.
The bit that got me was, Rick's kissing the horse, and he's like, "Your teeth are so big, it's like licking tiles."
Yeah. Everybody's like, "What?" Yeah, you got to go see it. I don't know if they're doing it. I went and checked not Comedy Central, but Adult Swim. And they did the first episode on YouTube, but that's the only one I've seen on YouTube where they played the whole episode. So I thought they had, made it so they were going to make them all live, but yeah, I still go to my streaming site to watch them all. But yeah, Rick and
Where
Morty.
I messed up was when I tuned into the first new one, I guess, wherever it was on YouTube. It started off with crazy shit. I'm like, wait, did I not see the end of the last few? Because I tend to sometimes, when I'm doing watch 2 or 3 in a row, I'll wake up midway through the 5th one and not have a clue what's going on, with the intention of coming back to watch it again. And then you get busy and you just get sidetracked. And when you go back, you watch the end of the next one and you just forgot those 3 you missed and that kind of thing. So yeah, I figured it was something I need to go back and catch up on. And when I did that, well, I might as well start back at number 1, right? It's been a while since I watched them all. So there I am back in the mix. So yeah, I need to go watch them before too many spoilers happen. I'm looking at you, Lucas.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
that was just one line.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
And such an
wow.
obscure
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Liz in chat wants to make sure you're remembering to get ready for work, as there are no TFR breaks. Thank you, Liz.
Yes, I do appreciate that very much, Liz. I am actually still keeping an eye on the time. If we were to take a break, it'd be coming up here really soon.
Dude, you're going to make me turn on that camera if you don't quit it.
Well, I thought this would show up in the together mode, but
no, you're just a pickle.
There's no big reveal here.
Yeah,
I'm a pickle. What do you want me to tell you? 9/11. I'm a pickle, and 9/11 was an inside job.
I'm Pickle Josh.
Are you going to show that video of your silent lightning? That was pretty cool.
Oh, that was crazy again. Yeah, dude.
This is now the second time I have.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a
video of somebody I know. I mean, I actually watched it while Cammy was recording it in Denver. It was right overhead, and you heard no thunder. Would you say this one was, Josh? Maybe 10 miles away, 10 miles off?
That was according to the radar. I couldn't tell you exactly how far away it was. I'm not sure. I really don't.
But you should still be able to hear thunder at 10 miles away.
Look,
with that amount of lightning going on.
I don't know if y'all remember me talking about it from the 4th of July, because there were so many fireworks going on. You could hear the rush of wind. It sounded like a storm almost during the fireworks, because you could just hear it coming through the valleys, because it's so hilly around here that we've got real steep hills and deep valleys. So during the 4th of July, it was just you could hear just that like a freight train rumble in the background during all the fireworks. So I can't imagine, even at 10 miles away, that sound would carry through the valleys, through the hills. Even at 10 miles away, I would hear it. I would be able to count that shit out, which is what I was originally starting to do. I was counting it out to see how far away it was. But the thunder just never came. And it kept not coming. All right, let me try to fix some things here.
So does lightning cause thunder? Or is thunder something totally different?
That is a very good question.
I mean, they're usually synonymous. When you have one, you get the other, usually. But when you start having these things where you have one and not the other, it kind of starts, throwing up some red flags.
Well,
And
you would assume then the lightning would cause the thunder. But
yeah, and we have 180 lightning strikes a second, I think, every second here on Earth that we know about. That's kind of a rough guesstimate. They take the lightning strikes over land and kind of average it out and say, yeah, this is how many we assume are happening over the water.
180 a
Every
second.
second.
Wasn't there something last year in Oregon where we found this place called the Lightning something, and they were like, oh, man, it's coming around. I'll have to find it. Is this not freaking anybody?
They're up there, right? In Oregon?
And it never lightnings and never thunders up there. Right. To the point that when my brother's lady came to meet him, which they had met online, got to know, fell in love online. This is back in the literally late 80s, early 90s. And she came where we lived, or where they were living in Jackson, Mississippi. And she almost had a nervous breakdown when a thunderstorm happened. Like, she was freaking the fuck out. And that's like nothing. That's just normal weather for us, you know? And then, like I said, when I was there, it was on the news that lightning happened that day. So for this place to be called Lightning something, and they had like 1,000 lightning strikes in one spot. Oh, let me go see if I can find that shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I do live in Louisiana here, so I thought that was a bit appropriate.
Just charging the joint up. That's sweet. I know, well, I don't know, but that the lightning creates nitrogen oxide. So it's interesting too.
Really?
Nitrogen for the plants. Yeah.
3 creates ozone.
I
love this ozone.
Sort of back to that electrical farming thing. There is, when you have a spark gap, you're getting the ozone, like you said, Zach. But you can also do the spark gap and get the air from that's surrounding that spark gap and put it into the water, and that will basically give you a nitrogen in your water, and you can just spray it out onto your plants. So pretty interesting little concept there too.
Now there's some talk of heat lightning in the chat and how that causes the thunderless lightning and this and that, but it's still an electrical discharge, the same as lightning.
Right.
I don't think the water has a whole lot to do with whether or not electricity is going to make. I mean, when I discharge my Van de Graaff generator, it discharges better when it's dry.
Exactly. It would be louder if there's no water, less humidity. It's going to crack. It's really going to snap and pop, and that electricity is going to jump even faster because it doesn't have that moisture in the air to act as a resistor.
Exactly. So yeah, it's kind of backwards the way they're saying it. Like, it would be less traumatic when it was drier out, when really drier is better for an electrical discharge. So yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
So it's been doing this for like 10 minutes that I've been watching. Huh? So it's been doing this for like 10 minutes that I've been watching, and still no thunder.
And those are some big lightning discharges.
I was going to say, to me, heat lightning doesn't ever actually arc. That's when it stops becoming heat lightning and becomes lightning. To me, growing up over the years,
it's one big
that's lightning.
No thunder.
See, like those types of strikes
should be
audible.
Talk. There should be so much thunder rolling through the hills here. But there's not. Oh no. Maybe I hear something. It is like 10 miles off. But still, I think you'd be able to hear something.
You can hear the motors in the distance. Oh
yeah, you could have heard that one for sure.
That was definitely not a heat lightning discharge spot.
So yeah, it was really strange.
That is wild. So much we don't know.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, yep, yep.
So anybody see the new Avenger or whatever with
No.
Okay, it's about the girl Avenger.
No, haven't yet. I'm struggling to get through the Loki thing hard as I can.
Well,
Not
they're
as
looking for
impressed
some
with
guy.
these shows as I was hoping they would be, you know.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Let me take my
If you're real interested in the Avenger stuff, I'm just going to say one part
la
of it.
la 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 la.
The bad guy is in like a floating, like in a cloud is where he hides. That's where his red room or whatever he calls it is. The only place that he can't be found on Earth is up above the clouds in a floating whatever, like a little city floating in the sky. Now, this has been multiple movies now where they've showed stuff like this. Big, like aircraft carrier sized vessels that are floating in the air above our heads.
Do you remember those videos that come out where there was like this? They had that sort of type thing come out of the clouds, and it was, I don't know if someone CGI'd it, but it was on some. It was back a while ago actually when I was into those.
Oh yeah, was that
what was
to
it? Secure Team and remember that one?
The floating cities that they saw in China. Are you talking about those?
No, it was a different one, but yeah.
My grandmother and my aunt both swore through my whole life that they saw floating cities multiple times throughout their life.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
And this goes back to old,
Yep.
These aren't new tales that people are making up. Shangri-La is the floating city. What is that, from China or Japan? I think it's the Chinese who had the lost city of Shangri-La.
Mm.
That nobody could find it because it always changed its location. I don't know.
There's that Ghibli movie that's got the castle in the sky that's got Lapida.
Yep.
That was cool.
Excellent.
Remember that one? That's
that's one of my
sick
favorites.
movie.
Yep, one of my favorites.
Yeah, so are these things, geez, what if they've always been up there? These big thundercloud systems that come rolling by and this and that. Maybe the thunder is just all the mechanical working noises of all this stuff. Oh, we need to make more clouds.
Well, I was going to say, isn't that a discussion too of there being a time period when we didn't have the same type of weather systems here upon the plane with us? That's something else, just like there was no moon at one point. So with them having like, what's that movie with your boy Matt Damon, Elysium? If they're up there all being elite and super healthy and living longer, and
Matt Damon.
Spinning on that wheel. Well, that's pretty. It's got the artificial gravity because it's spinning. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
What's the one? Equilibrium. Christian Bale. Do you guys you ever seen that one?
Gun fu?
Yeah,
Dude,
gun
I'm all
fu.
about some gun fu.
But that one's about a little drug that the whole population takes every day to get rid of their humanity, pretty much. So you can't have emotions. You don't feel fear. You don't feel love. You don't feel hate. You don't feel anything. And it is the law that you take this every day.
What's it called? Fluoride.
Yeah, equilibrium, they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about, and this is my analogy to the television. To win the battle, they have to destroy all the factories that are making this drug, so they can't get them out to the population, because all the population needs is a couple days not on the drug, and they start being human again. But since they were born, they've been taking this drug every day of their lives, and it's like a big robot society. Well, certain people stop taking the drug and start having feelings, and yeah, that's like, those are considered the terrorists, the bad people, the ones that just don't go along with, the protocol. And it's not a good movie at all, but the story is pretty neat. I bet it's a good
movie. It's a great movie. Gun fu. Just go watch it. It's a really good movie.
That's the part that I couldn't get. There's 20 guys standing in a room, all with AKs, and this guy walks in with 2 pistols and kills all of them.
That's because he had already planned every angle of shot ahead of.
That's some John Wick shit.
Yeah, they're all standing around just all firing, and he's not getting hit at all. It's like, come
flipped
on,
over the table. Yeah, bullets go through it.
It's pretty something.
No, there's not even flipping over. He's standing in the middle.
He just walks in the room, a dark room, and
not hiding behind anything. He's like Matrix in all these bullets.
It's all about those angles, though. You got to have the right angle.
And the fight scene at the end was so bad, where they're both trying to gung fu each other.
One does not simply come into a room and gun fu. That's your boy, right? Same dude. Anyway, yeah. If you like genre movies, it's definitely a fun time. It does get a little cheesy in places, but the storyline is, like you say, it's very interesting with our fluoride-driven society.
I want a big shout out to Liz in chat. She is soaking up some sun to the point where it is almost burning her legs. You enjoy those sun rays, Liz.
Yeah. Lucky.
Convert that into vitamin D.
Don't wear sunglasses. I got on the neighbor's brother yesterday, or last week. He goes to his dermatologist, and they're always cutting little pieces off his nose and his cheek, telling him that it's cancer and this and that and blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, the sun, it just tears me up. I was like, do you wear sunglasses? He's like, well, yeah. I was like, stop. I told him, there's a little oil in both of your eyes that when the sunlight heats it up, it tells your body to make more pigment. Then you don't get burned. It's not, I'm sure the suntan lotion doesn't help with all the skin cancer, but the sun is not the cause of skin cancer.
No, it's also acid buildup in the cells.
Yeah, but you not letting your body do what it's supposed to do naturally by wearing sunglasses or the visor on your hat or this or that. If you're going to be out in the sun for a long time, I recommend you close your eyes and you look up at the sun and let those oils in your eyes heat up real good. You can feel the oils heating up in your eyes when you do that. It just starts getting warm underneath your eyelids. Then the pigment will be released into your skin so you don't burn anymore and you will tan. I haven't had a sunburn in I don't know how long. And it's because I don't ever wear sunglasses. I wear sunglasses in the wintertime when there's snow everywhere. That's the only time.
I'm snowblind.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah,
That,
snowblind ain't not the joke with.
yeah, that makes my eyes just start crying. I'll pull over to the side of the highway and just sit there, and my eyes will just be pouring water out of them because it's so bright. But yeah, let your body do what it's supposed to do. We don't need to put all these chemicals all over your body. I've never really I've never used sunscreen, so I've never looked at the ingredients, but I'd be willing to bet that there's a polypro something in there, which is plastic. So let's go douse our bodies with plastic some.
No, you can get natural ones.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. But I bet most of them are made out of oil. It's an oil-based product, most likely.
The normal ones you get, if you don't hunt out the natural ones, aren't real flash, I don't think.
Coconut oil has a natural SPF to it. So usually if I'm going to know I'm going to be out there for a hot minute in a direct sun, I might douse up a little bit of coconut oil.
Big shout out to that flat fellow that says he wears his sunglasses at night.
I remember I borrowed some sort of sunscreen lotion from a friend.
I'm sorry, Lucas. I was trying to go
somewhere. Anyway, I was going to say I borrowed this sunscreen lotion, and it turned out it had like a tanning lotion in it. And so I just put it all over my face, and next minute I looked like I'd been to Hawaii for a month.
So did you all see... Uh-oh.
There's not very many Corey Hart songs out there, for what it's worth.
There's not many, sir, but that'll be the one to take us down. Right. Corey's like, I'll get my money.
Son of a bitch. That's my rent this month.
I dropped a link for you there in chat, Liz. I want you to make sure you don't miss out on the gun kata. I was being silly with the gun fu. There is actually a name for it in the movie. It's gun kata.
I can't help but laugh because I know exactly what he's talking about. It's so stupid. There's a reason they don't teach gun kata to like FBI or, special forces, elite guys. They don't. It would not work. It just wouldn't work.
Through analysis of thousands of recorded gunfights, the cleric has determined that the geometric distribution of antagonists in any gun battle is statistically predictable element. The gun kata treats the gun as a total weapon, each fluid position representing a maximum kill zone, inflicting maximum damage on the maximum number of opponents, while keeping the defender clear of the statistically traditional trajectories of return fire. By the rote mastery of this art, your firing efficiency will rise by no less than 120%, math not included. The difference of a 63% increased lethal velocity proficiency makes the master of gun kata an adversary not to be taken lightly.
Yeah, it's just horrible, folks. You got to go see the gun kata fighting scene at least. And if it wasn't for that, it would have been a better movie.
For those of you who like to know behind the scenes stuff, kata is a Japanese word for the standard forms of movement and postures in karate, jiu-jitsu, aikido, whatever. The gun kata shown in Equilibrium is a hybrid of Wilmer, the director's own style of gun kata invented in his backyard and the martial art style of film choreographer Jim Vickers. So there you go. It's real.
I could see someone trying out and doing gun kata. Oh, South Park needs to make one, a gun kata. So, Richard Branson, did anybody watch this historic event take place?
Man, I totally missed it. Damn it. I know it was amazing, though. It had to be epic. I mean, he went to space, so come on.
As a flat earther, you would think I would have been on the edge of my seat waiting to see whether or not the earth was indeed flat or the round ball. Because
I know, man.
This was going to prove it, right? Wasn't this going to be it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It kind of looked round at one point. Then it looked kind of concave. At another point, almost like there was some kind of weird problem with the lens.
Lensing, yeah, some kind of weird lens. I bet.
So did he take that one lady, or is it Bezos that's taking the astronaut?
I think Bezos is the one that's going to squish that old lady and all those G-forces.
Well, I know that. I know Elon had a ticket. Did he get on and go or not? Did he sit in the back? Nobody knew it.
That thing went from like, if you watch the altimeter, good Lord, it went from 150 to 250. Like it on the altimeter, it showed 0 for like 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden picked back up and said,
well, if you want,
"Yeah, now they're 100,000 feet higher than they were."
If you want to be officially technical and look at things like altimeters, come on, bro.
It's those special privatized flight altimeters, don't you see, Zach? They only work in 100,000 increments. So the first 100,000 only registers as 0. That way you really know it's going to hit that 100,000 mark.
Yeah, it was just bad. And I had heard it was going to be canceled because of weather or something like that. So I quit even looking. As soon as it had started, I turned it on. They were talking about, oh, there's bad weather. It's not going to be done today. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, there's 375,000 people watching that on YouTube.
Yeah, but how many of those are bots?
374 of them. Yeah, just sad. Really. That people look at that and they're like, oh, yeah, look, he's in space. Well, for one, folks, what do you go, 50 miles up? Well, the Cartman line is what, 63 miles up? So he's a little short of being in space.
But space.
If you'll glance at my screen says Richard Branson didn't go to space. That's what my screen says. But I'm just looking at my screen. He did go really high.
He got very high.
He got really high. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Me and Elon, we do that all the time. I mean, not together, but we both separately tend to. Never mind.
He definitely cures his in the microwave, that's for sure, though.
Yeah, for sure. And he looked like such an idiot on Joe Rogan's when he was hitting that joint. It looked like he'd never smoked pot before in his life. I think he was doing it just to be cool. It was probably oregano.
Peer pressure?
Yeah.
Billionaires succumb to peer pressure?
I just want to be cool for once. People stop making fun of me. I mean, if people knew Elon's backstory, they wouldn't be saying he's so smart and this and that. I mean, and it's not hard to find all the information. It's public information. The guy didn't make Tesla. The guy didn't make PayPal. The guy didn't do anything. Everything he's done had to be redone. He's a great programmer. Then why did his program have to be totally rewritten? I mean, I don't know. He's beyond dumb. It's like a puppet. That's all he is a puppet. They wheel him out there. He reads a script. When he goes off script, they get pissed, it seems. So I don't think
how much off script does he go? Does he go Biden off script or just a little bit?
Well, like when those kids were trapped in that tunnel, this and that, blah blah blah. And he was like, "Oh, I'll come save the day." And they're all like, "Yeah, Elon, dude, back off. You're not, we didn't tell you to say that. Shut up. You bring in too much attention to places we don't want attention to be." And then he starts talking about how it's child trafficking and this and that. And they didn't give him any permission to say shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't think he's really in on it. I think he's just a dumb, gullible stooge that, is going for a ride.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, anybody who names their child after a jet. Yeah, exactly, Stephen.
Yeah, but it's the coolest jet ever. Come on, man.
Yeah, they need to do that one test. Everybody wants Biden to take that cognitive test or whatever. I think Elon test. I bet him and Sniffy Joe would get real close to the same score. Yeah, I haven't been hearing a whole lot about any of that stuff lately. The whole politics. Not that I ever pay.
It's probably because you don't turn on the TV.
Yeah. Well, usually I'll hear it, somewhere on YouTube, just scrolling through or something. You'll see I get a bunch of the news things when I'm not in my subscriptions, but just on my homepage or whatever. There's a line that has all the different news, blah, 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 blah. I saw something about Trump 2024 saying he's going to run again.
Wow.
Isn't he going to be like 80 something then?
He's not even announced. Again, it's just people saying shit.
Yeah, I didn't watch it or anything. I just saw the headline.
For the few Q-tards that are still rolling around.
Well, that's one of the new things is I think if the Republicans can come back and recapture the House, then they can vote Donald Trump in as Speaker of the House. And then he would then technically be in line for succession to be president should something happen to the president and vice president, I do believe.
Well, supposedly Australia's gone full dictatorship. I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to it. Dave sent something, sent one of the government ads he was fairly shocked at. This girl basically on her deathbed, supposedly with the what was it, air tubes, and just full on making this big sort of scene like she's about to die, and then straight after it's like, oh, get vaccinated. But I pointed out that our government ads have been horrific for so long. It's unbelievable what they do, especially like you have the police ones as well. Like, you'll have on the sides of the roads, and they'll have these big banners with the all these sort of highly negative, really negatively charged sort of stuff. Saying don't speed or all this other stuff with it. It's crazy the level that they go to. Like they surpass everything. Our government surpasses everything in their ads as being totally gross and absurd.
Yeah, I saw the one with the lady sitting there dying because she couldn't breathe. I can't believe that they show that on television.
Yeah, and show it to kids or whoever's watching. They don't care. They honestly don't care. But
yeah, first thing I thought it was my mom. That would have terrified my mom. She would have went out and got another vaccine. Just to be sure, after seeing something like that. I mean, horrible, horrible stuff.
I don't know if I should show this, but I'll show the cigarette packets. Should I do that or not?
Yeah, what do they say on them?
The images on them.
Dude, wait till you see this. You're not even going to believe what this is about.
They have images on the cigarette packets?
Oh, Zach, hold on.
Yeah, they've had them on
Get
for
your
years.
phone ready, sir. Get your phone ready so you can see this.
Give me a sec.
While he's getting this ready, if you're a young child or a sensitive viewer, you might not want to look at this. It's pretty grisly. While he's getting that ready, you got it?
Nearly, yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had it. I was going to go somewhere else real quick, but I want to wait for a minute then after you show that.
Like this. There's one. Can you see that all right?
It's coming up here. Skype's being a jerk off. I'm going to have to jump on the YouTube one. Oh my God.
There's more. Got the eye, lungs. Yeah, that's what they put on big pictures. Like
That's
that?
on the cigarette packet?
Yep.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts they get away with this shit.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
There you go. Rotting teeth. Yeah, you have it. Toilet on there. Tongue cancer.
They were going to do that here, Zach. There were people trying to get that done here to put on our packs of cigarettes in America.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's an example of the extremes that they go to. You know what I mean? Like so.
Now, real quick, everyone, please send some love, prayers, lots of positivity to our buddy Nuka over there in his country. Apparently, a lot of fires and a lot of crazy looting has gotten out of hands. Just trying to play catch up. Read while I'm talking. Sorry, but yeah, brother. Sorry to hear that. Sending you lots of love, dude. Damn.
Yeah, much love, Nuka. Sorry to hear that, brother. I know there's some places here in the U.S. that are a little out of control with looting and things like that. Have you heard what's going on over in San Francisco? How minor theft is now okay. You can go into a store and just steal stuff, and the cops will stand outside the store and watch you walk away.
Why is that?
I don't know. Is that not the stupidest thing you've ever heard? I thought it was out of control when they were allowing homeless people to defecate on the sidewalk. And that was over a year ago. I thought, no way, this is going to last. This is the next Sodom. This place is going to fall into the ocean any second. Nope, now looting is legal. I've seen a video of 2 cops standing there just watching a horde of people run into a store, grab something, and run out. And the cops just standing there watching them. Okay, society does not work that way. It's not gonna. No. Who made up these ideas? Who thought this was a good idea?
Well, the cops did the same thing with the Black Lives Matter protests as well, though. They were just standing there
But
and
yeah,
letting
this
people
is
go
like
in and do.
every day. This is like anybody can just go into a store and grab something and walk out. This isn't like, okay, there's a protest today, there's going to be looters, we're expecting that. This is, 365 days a year, you can walk into a store, grab something, and just walk out. It's crazy. I don't know. I'm glad I never got out there. I knew there was a reason that once I saw Eastern California, I was like, yep, that's far enough for me. I don't want to go see that cesspool on the other side of the state.
That's interesting, man. Like, as a young guy, wanting to be into music and guitar and whatever, that's like the mecca. You go out to California, man. That's where all the heavy metal people are, right? And so I went out there on a job in the 80s at like the height of that. And it was the fakest, most plasticky, horrible, like things at night on the streets. And just, yeah, it was nuts. And I said, okay, I'm glad I got to visit this place because I definitely don't ever want to come out here to live. No offense to anyone who lives out there, just not my kind of area. Great weather if you're a lizard, I guess. Hot and sunny all the time, but it's a different kind of heat, right? Yeah, it's like a hairdryer blowing in your fucking face all the time.
Yeah, Robert, I saw that one too. Just messed up. I didn't want to repeat that one. I don't know. You're watching a society crumble. This is what happens, at least according to history. I mean, they did the same thing in the 30s in Germany. They start mixing up the genders and all this kind of stuff and doing all this.
Did they now?
Just backwards. They're just. And yeah, this happens every time a society goes to crumble. It seems like there's a blueprint on how to crumble a society. Well, we'll make all the court systems for the criminals now. We'll make all the healthcare systems. Well, we're going to poison you now. We're going to make it so you can't afford to have food and water and shelter. All these things are designed to collapse a society. And we have to be, human when this stuff happens and care for our neighbors. And it can't be me, mine, mine. There's no point in hoarding 100 pounds of pickles if 90 pounds of the pickles are going to go bad before you can even eat them. When things like this happen.
You mean it would make no sense to like buy all the toilet paper up when all you need is enough for you?
Exactly. This whole hoarding mentality and I need to have it and mine, and that's what kind of avalanches everything. They get the ball rolling and then they let us go about it because of the way we've been programmed. We do it automatically. They know how we're going to react. They've done this before. So we have to keep our wits about us. and more importantly, our compassion and our love for our fellow people. We can't turn into them. And that's what they want. So yeah, if you're ever in one of these horrible predicaments, always remember that you're not alone. And you have, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's scary to think about, but I think these times may be coming here. And yeah, get to know your neighbors, folks. It's important. You have strength in numbers. I love my neighbors.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, it's, you'll naturally gravitate to the right people. I think it'll all work out in the end if you're willing to put in the effort or, do what you need to do to, get you out of whatever circumstance you're going to end up being in. So, and in the end, it might just peter out too. We really don't know. So it's just a matter of seeing where the cookie crumbles.
Well, yeah, it's all on us. If we act the way they're expecting us to act, then yeah, society will crumble. But if we rise above it and, care for each other and love each other and make sure we all have enough not to thrive, but just to get by in a really rough time. And that foils their plan right there.
Yeah, but those are my watermelons. I don't care who grew them. No, I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, they want us killing each other over this stuff.
Shout out real quick to Tommy, that flat fellow. He had dropped us a super chat earlier, and he's asking about no commercials today. Unfortunately, we got locked out of the studio, Tommy. No, there's some technical cigar-related issues. I don't know. There's something going on, and we didn't get in, and so we'll figure it out. But that being said, there are a few commercials that we probably should have played, like our little breaks, and then I hope this plays.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. You're listening to Iron Realm Media. I listen all the time, and it's the best truth show out there. Forget about the mainstream lying. Get your weekly dose of iron. Realm, that is. Stay woke, folks.
That was awesome.
That's cool.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tommy. Who did that? Who did the voice?
Who the fuck was that? That's great. That's epic. Oh my
if that was Dr. La, that guy is.
Oh my God, he's a genius if it was. That would be too great.
That guy can do Alex Jones, Elvis. I bet that guy can do every impersonation. Yeah, that was good. Thank you so much, brother. Love it.
And I saw there was another one earlier from Liz with the sunglasses. If you mentioned it, I'm mentioning it again because I'm just kind of scrolling back through and trying to play catch up. Seems like there was something else I missed, but I can only go back so far. So, and we also could play, some promos or anything else that might be easy for Josh to do since he's had ample time to get ready by now. I'm not putting you on the spot, Emma Jones.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
You wanted promos?
Dark matter. Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet.
Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because, Well, because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks on TFR.
This is Light and Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworks with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
For you. Those are the ones that I've got handy.
All right. Great question in chat from Tommy, that flat fellow. Who, if anyone, would you like to leave a message if you had a choice? What celebrity? I already picked him.
I saw Don Pettit mentioned there by commercial sound and video. That would be epic. I love that. But I mean, you know, as far as, I guess, more recognizable voices, we would have to consider things like, oh, I don't know, the dude. Oh, look at Caleb. That's what's up, Caleb. I love the dude.
Yeah,
shout out to TJ hitting 300 on his channel over there. Now he's dedicated to doing a 300-minute stream. That's what's up, brother. Nice. Congrats. Just trying to play catch up here as we're, I guess, almost about to wrap this thing up. Wow. So how does 2 hours fly by faster with no breaks? How does that happen?
Because we're not reminded.
Maybe so.
Every half hour that a half hour has gone by, so it flies by even quicker. Carl from Sling Blade. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. That could be one for sure.
He likes the way I talk, and I like the way he talks. Mm-hmm.
I like it. I reckon I need some iron in the morning. I reckon.
I went with Mike Tyson.
Oh man, too many. Hey, I know that dude. What's up, brother? In the morning, who's got his radio playing? Sir, can we ask you to turn that? Sir, if you're going to call in, can we ask you to please turn down your radio?
How's it going? Unkuleleko Duma. How you doing, Duma?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, there he
yes,
is.
Sir. Hi,
there you go.
How are you, my brother?
How you going?
Listen on this device.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Doing okay, as I said in the chat. The looting is going on in my country. Armies deployed. I sent Walter some videos. Army being deployed. People burning the malls, looting.
Oh, I missed it, man. I'm sorry. Where is that? Over here
No,
on
sorry.
screen. Oh, I see it. I see it. Yep. I see it now. Shit. Well, do we have time? Let me go see.
You can play it, but I mean, the reason for all of this is one of our former presidents was caught in corruption. Some billion rand deal with Russia that they wanted to push through. It's an energy deal, and basically it was corruption, and now he has to go for hearings, and he refused to go to hearings, so the Constitutional Court held him in contempt of court and put him in jail for 15 months. He's only been serving like his second or third day, and the country now is rioting because they want him out, but half of them are rioting because they want him out, the other half are rioting because they've put us in another lockdown, another hard lockdown, so people are losing their jobs, so they just said, screw it. Now they're going to go do their own grocery shopping by looting.
Wow, that's rough, man.
Yeah, I just spent the whole day, or most of the day, going up and down, trying to find stores that are open, seeing some more friends, collecting what I need here and there. Luckily for me, I'm all set. But the majority of people, yeah, they're going to struggle the next coming of days because they're not opening any mall, they're not opening any grocery store because if they stock up, they're just going to loot it again. So although people are looting, they're not thinking long term and food security. So where they going to? Oh yeah, play that video. So they've deployed the army. They've been shooting people with rubber bullets throughout the streets today.
Can you say that again? What did you say, Nuka?
Yeah, let me reshare it without the sound. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying they've deployed the president deployed the army yesterday to try to help control the looting. But I mean, it's not helping. Yeah, they're shooting people with rubber bullets, but they can't be everywhere at the same time. So you might control one area, another area flares up. They go to that area to control it. They'll go back to the original area. So it's pointless.
So this is nationwide happening?
It's in 2 provinces right now. So where I am in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng province, which is right now apparently gripped by the new COVID-19 variant. There's a Delta. That's why our country is in lockdown. But I mean, people have lost their jobs, so now they're just writing because they just had enough.
Yeah, well, that was going to be the end result. Yeah, that's exactly right. When they've got nothing to lose, people lose it. So, yeah, it's not good at all.
Yeah, this is today, early in the morning. The people that were still trying to loot and riot.
Wow, those things are powerful as. Wow.
And if you just play the next one, Walter. Yeah, that's my mall. This was earlier yesterday. It was still in the morning when they were still hadn't burnt the mall. They were just still rioting on the streets. But as you see, there'll be another one where they got in the mall, they broken into the stores, and then another one when the mall is actually on fire. This is my local mall now. It's where I do, where most people in my area, in my community, do their shopping, which is now partially burnt down.
So how far away do you have to go now to actually get groceries, or do you have to find some transport to actually get to it, or what happens?
You have to work with rumors. There's a rumor that here and there some shops are open. I did go to a grocery store that was supposedly open, but the line was so long and you only allowed like 5 items. I wasn't going to stand in the line. I saw a friend who was in the line and I gave him some money. If they can get stuff for me, great. And then I went off to speak to one of my other friends who had some extra groceries, which I went in and collected. And there was another smaller shop that I went to. Again, they've run out of stuff, so I just bought a bunch of random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man. Damn.
So do you think this is going to, keep spreading through the country, or is it just going to, you reckon it's going to...
It's going to go through the eventually the whole country, I think, because it's not stopping. With the army deployed, you thought maybe it would calm down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to. I mean, people are still looting, and let's say they stop looting. They've burnt down the infrastructure. It's not as simple as, they broke a store window and they emptied the shelves. They did all of that, and then they burnt some shops. So it needs to be rebuilt, and that's going to take time. And in the meantime, where are people going to get their groceries, their essentials and stuff? Unless you have a car and you can afford to drive up and down and looking for these places, you're going to be stuck. And that's the thing. You're not thinking long term. You're just thinking about the now. Yes, those people that looted, their fridges are full right now, but give it another week or two. Then what?
Yeah, exactly right. But we knew from the start that these people weren't thinking long term when they were, at the slightest whim, they would go to, empty the shelves of toilet paper. I mean, that's not rational in any.
Well, I got my missus here, and you and I might think it's not rational, but to her it's very rational. She wants toilet paper. She's been nagging me about the water, because there's a rumor going around that the next thing they're going to target is our water and our lights. So if you run out of water, she's not going to be very happy with using the toilet. So
yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Anyway, I find it interesting.
Like I was saying.
Do you think it's somewhat staged? Like, there's people actually, or you think it's actually the local people, or do you think there's, groups that are set up to actually start to destroy these buildings?
Well, let me ask you this.
Or anything like that.
Were there any piles of bricks on pallets already set in place when you guys got there?
Oh yeah, I saw some videos yesterday in town in central business district. There were rocks everywhere. I mean, there's never rocks there, but for whatever reason, yesterday there were rocks and they could hurl at the cops. And I think a big portion of it is coordinated, because
of course it is.
The way they're looting strategically and certain malls and this and that, somebody has to be planning it. And I mean, my thing is, the ex-president is currently now in jail, but he's not in jail for the corruption. He's in jail because he refused to go and testify against other people. So that's why he was held in contempt of court. I'm thinking the people that he's protecting are the ones that are organizing this whole thing, and in an attempt to get him out, because they're saying, people are writing and they want him out of jail. I think they're the ones coordinating all those people that he's protecting.
Yep, wouldn't surprise me. But have they backed down on this, the lockdowns at all with all this writing, or they're just not even budging with that sort of side of things?
No, they will. Officially, we're still on level 4 lockdown. But I mean, people aren't obeying the rules. I mean, we even have a curfew, but people aren't obeying the rules, and they're not wearing masks anyway. They're going up and down the streets and they're doing whatever they want. We're not really in a lockdown, but officially we're supposed to be. But with the way things are going right now, it's like there is no lockdown. People are just.
That's the least of their worries right now.
Yeah, well, and they're limiting ammunition as well. The ammunition shops to just 50 bullets each person. You have to rock up there with your license and your firearm, and and people are running out of ammo. Some communities are standing together and protecting their grocery stores, their shops. They are trying. There are some communities that have been able to fend these guys off. I just don't know how long they can keep it up, though.
That's wild, man. Be careful out there. Be safe.
So this seems like an exact repeat of the Black Lives Matter, just in a different setting,
sir.
In a sense.
That's why I asked about the piles of bricks.
Yeah. So exact same script in a sense.
Oh yeah, and the other thing is the vaccination program that they're trying to roll out. So my missus, she's a school teacher, so she essentially works for the government, and they made vaccines available to the teachers. And look, it's not mandatory, but the way they're pushing for the teachers to get the vaccine, Jesus, it might as well be. But I told her, you're not getting any vaccine, and she didn't. What we are looking for right now is currently it's the government that issues the vaccine, and you get like a little pamphlet thing to say, like your ID, your vaccine ID, to say that you've been vaccinated. And as soon as they make it available to private doctors, we're just gonna buy the certificate. We're not gonna get any vaccine, but we'll just buy the certificate. So her principal and the government gets off her back about it, because she's worried about if she doesn't get the vaccine, because she's currently on a contract, she's not full time. If she doesn't get it, then they might discriminate against her in future that she didn't get the vaccine.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Yeah. Yep. Very possible.
Well, gents, I think that's going to do it.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that nuts?
I guess it will.
And then some.
Well, thank you, Nuka. Take care, brother. Stay safe. Stay in touch for sure, man. I'll keep looking for you on Skype, because I don't always have it on for the notifications. It just blows up all the time if I do. So I'll keep an eye on it extra just to make sure everything's okay for sure. Love you, friend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for
sharing, man.
And stay safe as well.
Yeah,
No
thanks
doubt,
for
all
sharing,
of
mate.
us.
Stay safe, mate.
Love you, Nuka.
Yeah, love you. Nkululeko Duma. Stay safe. Protect those you love. Help those you can. And this has been a TFR-less Ironworx this Tuesday morning.
Yes, sir.
I think we swore less.
We did swear
Well, you have
considerably
to,
less.
yeah.
I've noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
It keeps the algorithms safe. Thank you all there in chat as well. It was great trying to keep up with you guys as always. Friday, come hang out. I don't really exactly know yet what's going to happen, but you never know with us. We always seem to come together with something great. Thank you, Campbell. I see you there in chat, brother. It was a great show Friday. Enjoyed the hell out of it. Hope you come back again. And since it seems that you're up this time of the morning, you're more than welcome to pop on here any morning that you're, or afternoon or evening or whatever. Lucas, what is it over there? -30.
It's evening over there.
Yeah, it's 9 p.m. for me.
I think it's
right, I'm so screwed on these time zones.
Mid-September somewhere, I think.
Right. 2023, 24, something like that. But yeah, you guys, thank y'all so much in chat. Love you, love you, love you.
Yeah, love you guys.
You three guys, love you guys. Thank y'all. It was great.
It was. It was a lot of fun. I kind of liked it doing Sans commercials. Yeah. All right, I guess we can get out of here.
What?
Thank you guys so much. Be sure you tune in Friday morning for another episode of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. Fingers crossed. Maybe. We'll see. But we will definitely be here on YouTube and Odyssey and DLive and Facebook and Twitter. Maybe not those two. I don't know. Love you guys. Be good. Be well. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.